The evening began like any other ordinary day for ARMYs worldwide. Fans were scrolling through Weverse, checking posts, updates, and interactions, when suddenly a notification appeared. Taehyung has started a live broadcast. There was no prior announcement, no teaser, and no scheduled event. It was raw, unfiltered, and completely unexpected, exactly the kind of surprise that Taehyung is known for. Within seconds, thousands of fans rushed into the live stream. Comments poured in rapidly, hearts flooded the screen, and the air buzzed with anticipation. Taehyung appeared on screen, wearing a simple oversized sweater, his hair slightly messy, his voice calm but carrying a weight that fans immediately noticed. He greeted fans warmly, but there was something different about his tone, something deeper, heavier, almost melancholic. As the minutes passed, it became clear that this wasn't just another casual live. It was a moment of sincerity, vulnerability, and perhaps even a silent cry for connection. And then, almost without warning, Taehyung began singing. The song? Save Me. For longtime BTS fans, the choice of Save Me was no accident. The track, originally released in 2016, has always held a special place in BTS's discography. It was one of the songs that skyrocketed them into global recognition, but more importantly, it carried a hauntingly beautiful message, a desperate plea for rescue from inner darkness. As Taehyung's deep baritone filled the live, the atmosphere shifted completely. His voice was heavy with emotion, carrying nuances that weren't present in the original recording. It wasn't just a performance, it was a confession. Every lyric resonated differently when sung in such an intimate setting. ARMYs typed frantically in the comments, many confessing that they were in tears. Fans wrote things like, "Taehyung, are you okay? This feels like a message. We're here for you always." But what fans didn't immediately realize was that Jungkook, Taehyung's closest friend in the group, was also watching. Moments later, through faint background sounds and indirect confirmations from fans, it became clear. Jungkook was present during the live, either in the same space or joining quietly from his own account. As Taehyung's voice echoed through Save Me, Jungkook couldn't hold back his emotions. Those who caught glimpses of him described tears streaming down his face. For ARMY, the image of Jungkook crying while listening to Taehyung sing was almost too heartbreaking to process. Jungkook has always been expressive, but seeing him so vulnerable struck fans deeply. The youngest member, often seen as strong and playful, broke down in a way that revealed the depth of his connection to Taehyung and the weight of the moment. Some fans speculated that Jungkook's tears weren't just about the performance, it was about everything they had been through together. The struggles, the fame, the pressures, and the unspoken bond that kept them going. Social media erupted instantly. Jungkook crying is the most painful thing I've seen today. Taehyung and Jungkook, their bond is beyond words. This feels like history in the making. To understand why Jungkook's tears felt so powerful, one is to look back at the bond between him and Taehyung. When BTS debuted in 2013, Jungkook was only 15 years old. He was the youngest member, shy and overwhelmed by the intensity of the entertainment industry. Taehyung, though only a year older, quickly became one of Jungkook's strongest emotional anchors. While other members also played important roles in guiding the Magne, Taehyung's presence carried something unique, a brotherly comfort mixed with playful energy. From the earliest variety shows, fans noticed how Jungkook would often sit beside Taehyung, lean on him, or laugh endlessly at his antics. Over the years, their bond grew deeper, not just as colleagues, but as genuine friends who shared countless late-night conversations, music recommendations, and life advice. Fans still recall iconic moments. Taehyung comforting Jungkook during stressful times in their early years. Jungkook supporting Taehyung when he faced personal struggles. Their duets, filled with chemistry that ARMYs describe as soul-connected. This history made the Weverse Live incident even more touching. For Jungkook, watching Taehyung pour his heart into Save Me wasn't just about hearing a song, it was witnessing someone he deeply cares about reveal his soul to millions. BTS's music has always been more than entertainment. Each track often reflects their struggles, hopes, and messages to fans. Among them, Save Me remains one of the most hauntingly honest pieces. The song is a cry for help, wrapped in a catchy EDM melody. Its lyrics, "I need your love before I fall," resonate with anyone who has faced loneliness or emotional pain. When BTS performed it on massive stages, it felt like an anthem for survival. But when Taehyung sang it alone on Weverse Live, the meaning shifted. It became personal, intimate, and raw. Fans pointed out how Taehyung's delivery of a song had matured. In 2016, he sang Save Me as part of a group of rising idols. In 2025, he sang it as a man who had experienced both unimaginable success and unimaginable pressures. His voice carried the weight of time, of battles fought in silence, of emotions too complex to put into words. Jungkook's tears, then, weren't just about the performance. They were about what Save Me symbolized for them both: the years of struggle, the longing for healing, and the reminder that despite their global fame, they are still human beings who sometimes need saving. The moment exploded across social media. Within minutes, hashtags like Taehyung Save Me and Jungkook Crying were trending worldwide on X, formerly Twitter. Fans from every continent shared their reactions, making the live broadcast one of the most discussed events of the week. Some ARMYs wrote heartfelt posts. "I feel like I'm intruding on something so personal. Taehyung's voice plus Jungkook's tears equals a moment we'll never forget. This is why BTS is different. They show us their raw humanity. I want to reach through the screen and hug them both." Fan artists immediately began sketching and painting interpretations of the scene. Within hours, fanfiction writers started creating stories inspired by the moment. Reaction videos appeared on YouTube, some fans openly sobbing while rewatching the live. More importantly, ARMYs used the opportunity to remind Taehyung and Jungkook that they were loved. Thousands of posts filled with phrases like, "We're here for you," and "BTS saved us, now let us save you." This mirrored the exact message of Save Me, completing a full circle between artists and fans. As always with BTS, fans began speculating whether the performance had deeper implications. Why Save Me? Why now? And why did it affect Jungkook so deeply? Some ARMYs theorized that Taehyung's choice of song was a subtle message about his own struggles. Others wondered if it hinted at ongoing tensions behind the scenes at HYB, where members have often been caught in the balance between personal expression and company expectations. While nothing was confirmed, the theories themselves reflected how much fans cared. To them, Taehyung singing Save Me wasn't random, it was symbolic. And Jungkook's tears weren't just tears, they were a reaction to something far bigger than the surface suggested. Industry insiders noted that BTS members often use live streams to express themselves in ways that official channels don't allow. Weverse Live, in particular, has become a space for raw, unscripted communication. This made the moment feel less like a performance and more like a cry from the heart. In the days following the live, clips of Taehyung's performance and Jungkook's tears were replayed millions of times. Articles in global media outlets covered the story, calling it one of the most emotional BTS moments of the year. For ARMY, this wasn't just another live broadcast. It became a historic event in BTS's journey, one that highlighted the vulnerability of its members and the strength of their bond. Fans began referring to it as the Save Me Live. The legacy of this moment lies not in its drama, but in its authenticity. It reminded the world that behind the glamour of stadium tours and awards, BTS are still 7 men who feel pain, love, and longing just like anyone else. And for Jungkook and Taehyung, the moment will likely be remembered as yet another chapter in their lifelong bond, a bond that continues to move millions across the globe. This wasn't the first time BTS members revealed raw emotions in front of ARMY. Their history is filled with moments where tears broke through the polished stage image, reminding fans of their humanity. Back in 2018, during the Love Yourself World Tour, Jungkook famously injured himself, but still insisted on singing while sitting in a chair. His tears that night symbolized his frustration at not being able to perform fully. Fans cried with him, shouting louder than ever to let him know he wasn't